Welcome back, sister, to Around the Kitchen Table, the place where we gather, pour a cup of tea, and speak the truths that live just beneath the surface. I'm so glad you're here with me today. This is a tale of two halves, as the first part, but after the other part. I've just been sat here recording, and my last recording just suddenly turned itself off. The internet went sketchy around 6 minutes in, and I carried on, and I thought, okay, it came back on, I'll just carry on recording. And then I've just been back and watched the recording. It's like, oh wow, it was not good. There was a couple of minutes where it was really sketchy, and then it was off. I was frozen in that kind of if you're listening, you won't see my face, but if you're watching, I was frozen in that kind of way. And yeah, so I'm laughing because it's now 5:15. I started recording and I was recording around 4:44, and now it's 5:15, and I'm just laughing at the way that my morning is going, from being woken up by my thoughts and visions of my podcast today super early this morning. But anyway, let's just start that again and bring this to you as we are together in the glow of a powerful moment on Sunday, the 7th of September at 19:09, so 9 minutes past 7 British summertime in the evening. We're going to meet a Pisces full moon. And it's not just any full moon, but a total lunar eclipse. And as always, I like to bring the cosmic down to the kitchen table. So, what does this really mean for you, for me, for the daily lives that we're living? That's what we're going to explore today. So, we're going to start by setting the scene. Let's start with the sky. Eclipses are course corrections of the soul, right? They arrive to kind of the stories, the patterns, the comfort zones that keep us small. They illuminate what we've been avoiding. What have you been lifting the carpet and sweeping under the carpet? What no longer serves your becoming? Pisces' own flavour, a watery, intuitive space that dissolves boundaries. Lean into truth, to our intuition and spirit. Under this moon, those illusions just won't hold. The places where we tell ourselves it will get better soon or wait until later, those illusions are being stripped away. And yes, it's shadow time, it's uncomfortable. But this is the liminal space, the no longer and not yet. But it's also, and this pause is sacred. This is where becoming really takes root as we move from what's been the busyness of a summer season, potentially for you, it definitely has for me, into this place of the autumn. And I'm not quite sure where I got to before I got kicked off. So I'm going to leave it there. Suffice to say that we are in the process of moving house. And I know that I'm definitely going to tell you about that in a moment. Um, and so really this podcast is about, what does your environment really mean for you? How does your environment really shape you? This moon and all its disillusionment really brings home a deep part of where no longer serve you. And your environment is not just the home that you live in, right? It's the people, the places, the sum total of 5 people we spend the most time with. So who's in your environment? Who are those people? So I'm going to pause now and I will be back in a moment with the second. It's the first part. I bumped my head yesterday. It was really quite sore. like a real bump on the head. And it really made me sit and take a note, because the last few days, every time I've tried to do something, it's not really worked. I've tried recording and there's been people around, or the cows making noise, or and I'm like, like my environment is not conducive anymore to who I am and where I want to be in life. And then I was like, right, I'm just going to go into bath. I've got, my niece's birthday coming up and I've got a few things to do. And then I banged my head so badly that I couldn't really even see straight. And I was like, okay, stop. And so I spent the afternoon yesterday on the sofa just watching the British Zone B, because I'm so hardcore. But that out breath, that's the time we're in. I wish you well. Take care. I don't know what happened there. I just got clicked off my internet completely. Why I figure this out. And now I have no idea whether we're still recording or we're not. Bizarre. Anyway, this will be whatever it is right now. I have to just brace for what's happening at this wee hour of the morning. So, if we carried on recording, that's great. And if we didn't, I'll have to go back and record the first part. But I was sharing with you about our house moves and realizing, along the way that my environment has kind of shaped who I am, or I've shaped my environment to really mirror where I've been in that time. So times when I would move to much smaller homes to kind of cozy up me and the kids. I was on my own with them for 9 years. So there was a time where I needed to kind of make our environment smaller in a different way. Anyway, just as we were going into what I call silly season in our lives. Sorry, I'm just scratching my head. I had a big bump on the head yesterday. Like a huge bump on the head. Anyway, I'll tell you about that in a minute. But just as we were going into silly season, we got given notice on our home. Now, the other reason, then we live on a farm, and our landlord and landlady are wanting to begin to retire. So one is moving in here to become the tenant farmer and take over more responsibility. That and the fact that this house, bit by bit, has shown us that it's not our environment, it's not our place. We literally live on a dairy farm. We are surrounded by cows and poop and mud on the road all of the time. All of the time. And it sounds glorious and it sounds beautiful, and you live in the countryside, but there's never a time really where it's quite a working farm. And we've loved it. It's been amazing. But something has shifted in me and us as a family that says it's time to move on. And this house has been literally falling apart. There's been roof tiles falling off the roof. And we've had some floods. We've had all sorts of things in the last 3 months that have said, it's time. Like, I'm literally gonna push you out the door. And yet I know that my glorious husband would have struggled to move. It's not his easy space. Like, his childhood traumas are his to share, but actually part of his childhood trauma means that he needs his environment to stay stable. Anyway, we went to look at a house, and I'd set our intentions that, this is before we'd been given notice. I'd set our intentions, and I'd held Sacred Sister, and there was all this kind of like love and joy in the field for what we might create in this home. And it was another farm, and the house was smaller, but the land was bigger, and it was all amazing. And we went to see it, and we were like, yep, this is it. We're going to move. Anyway, as we came out the door of that house, we literally got a ping on Chris's phone, and we had an email giving us notice on this house. So it was like, right, great. This is the house. This is the move we're supposed to. And we didn't get it. And we didn't get it because a friend of theirs came forward and wanted it. And so they gave it to the friend. And at the time, it was like a big, like, okay, what happened? I set my intention, I created the spell, I cast the spell, like I was bringing in the environment that was right for me and my family. Now, that's the key. My manifestation and my spell casting was to bring the environment that was right for me and my family. Everything I had been looking for was right for, and you guys, it was right for Sacred Sister. It was right for how can I bring more women to the land? And yet, the spell I had cast was bring me an environment that's right for me and my family. So, this season, we've had to like try and, well, I have been on right move, like Billy O, trying to figure out what that next move might look like, where we might end up, what that might be like. We've kind of been and visited various houses, like, yep, that one could work. We could make that work. And then something else has happened and we've just lost it. And at the time it was like, oh my God. And then I got brave. And so a house that had come up that I realized one of the things I've been craving for our family is more time by the sea, a space that we can grow our adult family into, a space where my daughter can have more, can walk places, she can begin to be more independent, a space where she can, be around horses and do the things that she wants to do with her environment, her spaces, the spaces that make her feel safe. And so we went to look at this house. Now, this house is what I would call, it's an old Edwardian house, very high ceilings. It's got big rooms. It's got this beautiful kitchen to die for. It isn't in the countryside. It doesn't have lots of land. It has a big garden, but it doesn't have lots of land. But it's by the sea. It's half an hour for the boys to go to work instead of the over 1 hour commute that they have each time they go to work. It's close to the farm that we do have access to move all of the trailers and all of that part of our work. So we separate our work again, because at the moment our environment is all work. Oh, I'm really emotional as I share this with you because we're on that last part of referencing. It seems to have gone on for the last 2 weeks since we've seen the house and we agreed, and backwards and forwards communications and like the liminal. When I talk about the liminal, it's that space, that void of like, it's now out there. If it's meant to be ours, it'll be ours. But geez, it's hard. It's hard in that environment. I find it hard to sit in that environment. I haven't even quite started packing the boxes yet because I'm like, is it? Isn't it? I mean, we have to move out of here, so I need to pack the boxes, right? And then yesterday, I was rushing around trying to get out of the house because this is my environment. It's been my environment. This is my office. It's been my office for a long time. I love it in my office. But it doesn't reflect anymore who I am and where I'm moving to in my life. It doesn't reflect anymore the expression of who I am. It doesn't reflect anymore the reality that I'm coming out the other side of that part of menopause where I've wanted to hide and stay inside my four walls and make my world really small. It's not small because I speak to you guys, like I'm out there online, but I don't really hold anything anymore other than the gathering in person. Long story short, I'm ready. I'm ready to shift my environment. And so, I find it really helpful to ground these energies that we've been talking about in the moon into real life, you know. And for me, it has been so alive in this house move. And it's likely that we'll get the keys probably next Friday. And so over this moon, it's like, what am I harvesting? Well, I'm harvesting everything that we've been working on. And, you know, moving shows you the things that you didn't really want to see, the things that I've clung on to, the things, every drawer that I begin to kind of empty, and every box that I tape shut, every room I walk into for the last time, it all becomes a mirror of who I've been and who I'm becoming. And my own version of this, maybe not a move, but a shift in relationships or in work or in your body, something that makes you look around and says, does this environment, these people, these patterns, this space really reflect who I am now? It's the truth. Your environment is shaping you every single day. It's not just walls and furniture, it's the people you let close, it's the energy you allow in, it's the routines that root you, it's even the land you walk on. Your environment can quietly drain you, or it can nourish your becoming. So, what can you do to support you in your own environment right now? It doesn't mean you have to move house, maybe even in your home that really anchors the energy of the outside in, anchors where you're headed or what it is you want to do. And this is where the season ties in, right? Because we're moving from summer into autumn. I don't know about you, but where we are, it's rained pretty much continually for the last 10 days, I guess. We started last Wednesday, so yeah, like 10 days. And we're also heading towards equinox. And this is like the great rebalancer. It's the light and dark coming into harmony again. And we're invited to do the same, to look at our environment, our routines, our relationships, and ask, where am I carrying too much? Where am I holding on too tightly? Where do I need balance? This eclipse and this season are both whispering, or maybe not whispering. Maybe they're coming loud and clear. Clear the space. Create the environment that supports the woman you are becoming. And it's not always easy, because sometimes what needs clearing is not just a cupboard or a drawer, it's a relationship dynamic, a boundary you've been afraid to set, or a story that you've been afraid to rewrite. But this moon, it doesn't really let us look away. So I'd love to invite you to pause here. I'm gonna have a sneeze. I hate that feeling in your nose. The liminal, that liminal space where it's like, am I gonna sneeze? Where's the sneeze? Anyway, so pause, grab yourself a journal if you have one. If not, maybe just let these questions move through you. Question number one, what have I been sweeping under the rug? You know, what have I been in my home, my relationships, or even in myself? What am I pretending is okay? Needs me to lift the rug on it and say like, okay, I'm ready now. Where am I that are keeping me small? You know, your comfort zone is the place where you stretch out to, but you don't quite get beyond it. And that comfort zone can sometimes just be right here, really close to you. My four walls for a long time. And now they're not. Now I'm ready to stretch out. Now I'm ready to kind of reconnect. And so my environment has changed. And what does my environment, my home, my habits, my people say about the woman that I'm becoming? Take your time. Even if you pause now and go and do those questions and come back when you're ready, these questions really open doors. And it might not be your time to do it. Remember, the rules, not rules. So, just because the moon is about to be full and the eclipse is there and we're heading into equinox, it's an amazing time. Your time, and what I'm saying isn't resonating with you right now, then it's okay to let it go and come back to it when the time feels right. And here's the thing. Eclipses, they don't, right? They ask us to be honest, to look, to witness what is ready to shift. Is clearing a shelf. Maybe it's just clearing out the fridge. Maybe it's saying no to something that's not sitting with you. Maybe it's naming the truth of a situation that you're avoiding. This is shadow work, yes. It's not always pretty, but it is sacred and holy work. It's the kind of work that eventually frees you, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's really the gift of this eclipse. It dissolves all illusions. It brings light into the shadows. So as you sit with this moon, I invite the liminal, the space between no longer and not yet. Look around your environment. What needs releasing? What needs rebalancing? What needs blessing or cleansing or loving attention? So for some of you, you'll just be taking a breath after the busy summer season with the kids at home. You might want to look around the corners of their houses and realize that, there's more cobwebs than you would normally have, but you've given your all to the kids and the housework has gone to one side. Can you sweep out the cobwebs? And as equinox approaches, may you come into harmony with yourself and within the spaces that hold you. We're going to close with a little blessing today. Taking a breath wherever you are. May this Pisces full strip away illusions and bring you home to truth. May you release what no longer feels like home. And may your environment reflect the woman you are becoming. We meet each other always around this kitchen table with honesty, with love, and with the courage to grow. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. If you'd love to sit in ritual with me, we'll be gathering in the Sacred Sister Sanctuary this Sunday night under the full moon. And together we'll honour the eclipse, release what no longer serves, and really step into becoming all that is calling us forward. So if you're not inside yet, this is your invitation. The door is open. You are all welcome. You can find the details in the show notes here, wherever you're watching or listening. But thank you for being here, for listening to me, and for being with me alongside my 4:44 musings in the middle of the night, and for bringing your light to this circle. Until next time, bless this moon you're becoming. Laura out.